Burn that motherfucker!
What's the first thing that you remember about all of this?
You know it's getting pretty intimate. You know that we forgetting that this world that we're living in.
Yeah, see, that's where we're going to start because a lot of us started 2 years before this.
Oh shit!
After the meeting, we decided to keep meeting once a month. That's when we had a chance to meet the hereditary chiefs out west. And I didn't really know what was going on, and I didn't really know that we were going to meet them. But prior to meeting them, I actually organized with a bunch of group of people. We helped organize the Rolling Blockade, and that's when in London, Ontario, Aguasasti, some people from Ganawage, some people from Six Nations decided to organize Rolling Blockade, and that was in support for our brothers and sisters out west with their situation with the RCMP coming on unceded land. It's basically an invasion, and I felt like we had to do something to bring awareness to their situation. So it was cool. All that tied into meeting them the second time. So it was like I was able to meet them and be like, hey, I helped bring awareness to your situation. And it was like getting to meet them in person. So it was almost surreal at the time. They really got to explain to us in detail what's going on out there and their situation in person. And that's when it was an eye-opener for me, and I'm sure with everyone else in that room. And you got to remember, everyone in that room was from around all Sister Mohawk territories. And we learned a lot of different things about our history, stemming all the way back from the 1990 Oka crisis. And they reached out because they had no other choice. They didn't know what else to do. Reports were, very, very sad with what they were saying. They weren't getting support. They weren't getting help. RCMP were just rolling in on them, and they had no other choice but to ask us for help. And I think at that moment, we all agreed in that room that we are going to help these people when the time came. So that's when it starts for me. When I think about the tracks, I think about that time for myself and how important that was. I didn't know what was going to happen or how we were going to help. But when the action took place and Weidman Road happened, I went running. I think it was like day 3. I was like, all right, I'm gone. I'm up there. I know what this is for. This is the time to stand up and do something. I'm going to fulfill my obligation, and I'm going to be a man of my word, and I'm going to stand up and do something. So that's basically when the visual happens with Weidman Road and the tracks. Because when I showed up, I thought the tracks are going to be blocked. I thought, like, you know what I mean? We're going to have barricades set up on the tracks. And to my surprise, when I showed up, there was absolutely nothing on the goddamn tracks. And I was a little bit confused because I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like the media and like the outside community, we're on the other side with the OPP and CN people. And we're on the other side of the tracks, at least 200 feet, 50 feet away, 100 feet away where we are. And yeah, there's people going up to the tracks, but nothing was ever blocked. So I was a little confused. I was like, what is this? Like, there's already been a precedent set. Like, there's already a respect thing going on here, like I thought we were going to have to fight, right off the rip. But that's what I remember is that. And I just remember seeing the media. I remember seeing all the OPP, all the CN Rail people. I remember seeing community members. I remember just going in with the flow. There was already men standing. There was already security standing. There was already support there. There was already a little bit of a system going on. There was a precedent set with media. at the time, I remember media was able to come in, and media was asking questions, and people were talking to them, and I don't know, it wasn't really a high alert tension situation. It was more of hey, we're standing together. Hey, how you been? Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, we're doing something amazing right now. We're doing this for the right reason. So it was like, that's what I remember.
Last year, when you're talking about this first meeting, you realize that was because of what happened in Akwesasne last year with the raids and on the dispensaries. Because remember when the whole standoff happened in Akwesasne last year? That resulted in that letter from Richard Mitchell and the Mohawk Nation writing how they don't agree with having cannabis at all for the Mohawk Nation, and that's what led them to call that meeting. And everybody was like, "What the fuck? Like, they don't speak for the whole Mohawk Nation." That's what led to that meeting, the first time everybody met, and then so it all kind of, if you really think about it, it started from the action that took place in Akwesasne and the result from the Mohawk Nation writing that letter.
But for me, it started way before that. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about it, like, believe it or not, my journey started when I went to a 4-day gathering, a 4-day talk about the difference between Handsome Lake Code and Agaila Nagoa. And this 4-day gathering was out in London, or in Oneida, outside of London, Ontario. And what caught my attention was the title and the what do you call it? The itinerary, the 4-day itinerary talks. That's what led me to go there, because at this time, that's when the videos were coming out with the brothers and sisters out west. They had the checkpoint, the RCMP just broke through it. The first arrest just happened. And nobody was doing nothing in the Iroquois Confederacy. And like, it was driving me crazy. I almost wanted to leave and go get adopted by another nation. Like, that's how bad it was bothering me. Because I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, this is really bad things happening and bad stuff happening. Like, it's an invasion. You know what I mean? And so this 4-day gathering in Oneida happened. And one of the itineraries was talking about out west, and what did they call it at the time? Self-governance. This self-governance thing was being passed around through the band offices and all territories across Canada. And it concerned me. And I instantly drove out to this gathering. And I didn't expect to see what I seen. And I don't even know if I'm able to talk about it, but a lot of healing happened inside of them gatherings. A lot of community healing happened. And I seen compassion from the guys. And I seen unconditional love come out from the guys. And I seen emotion. And that they're okay by showing it. And that they're okay by expressing it. And it was basically all about going back to the land and healing. And we have to go back to the land. That's where the true healing begins. And at the time, I really didn't understand it. I'm like, what, go back into the bush and just freaking suffer? Like, what the hell is he talking about? But I understand now. But at the time, I did it. And I was more worried about the self-governance thing and trying to do something. And that was less to make a stand because they were doing a Dundee referendum. I don't know the exact term in language, but I just know there's a Dundee land claim and it was already our land, and the band office is trying to sell it. And on top of selling it, there was all these conditions that we had to agree to that was not acceptable in my eyes. So that's where my journey began, because I made a promise after that 4-day agreement when I met. It kind of like lit my fire. And I kind of realized that the Agaila Nagoa is the only thing that can save mankind and human beings and this planet. It's the only thing that can heal Mother Earth. If people can just begin to wrap their minds around it and be open-minded and show some love and compassion to one another, maybe we'll be able to get somewhere. But like I said, that's a whole nother conversation for something else. So my fire got lit, and I went back to Akwesasne, I went back to the island and I did something that I never thought I'd do. I called a people's meeting.
And now a message from our sponsor, Legacy 420.
Effective March 16th, here at Legacy, we've enhanced our sanitization and cleanliness protocols for our employees and our clients. We've increased the placement of hand sanitizer stations throughout our facilities and dispensary for customers and employees to use. High traffic areas are sanitized at a minimum every half an hour. All Canitex staff who handle product, cash, are using approved hand sanitizers and gloves which are swapped out regularly. Employees and customers are encouraged to respect the 2-meter social distance and physical distance at all times. We are taking phone orders, online orders for curbside pickup to avoid unnecessary contact with our employees and the public. We ask everyone, customers and employees, to respect and abide by the measures we have put in place. We are ever vigilant in our efforts to keep our employees and customers safe during this time. As the situation changes, we will be monitoring and look to implement any other further measures as necessary, such as hours of operation or delivery methods. If you'd like to hear more about the protocols that we've put in place, please visit us at www.legacy420.com. Together, we can flatten the curve.